Hey guys, thank you for joining us. In this day, I give you a very warm welcome. We're excited you're connected with us. I remind you, this is our series, Take Back Your Life. As you see on your screen, this is day 31. So we're almost there. We're almost to day 40. And what we're trying to do is take back our lives from the enemy, take back our lives from distractions, and become the people that God has created us to be. Now, if you've been on this journey with us and maybe you've learned a thing or two, or you've put in practice some of the things we've talked about, you've probably realized that it's a little bit harder than it seems. It's tough when you live your life one way, when you live a certain way. Now you're trying to change that, trying to change those habits, trying to change the way you think, trying to change the things you do, trying to change the way you speak. It's tough. It's pretty hard. And actually, psychologists say that it takes about 90 days, so 3 months, about 3 months to change a bad habit that has been or an addiction that has been in your life for a very long time. It's tough to change things. It's tough to change as human beings. But it's a change that is necessary. It's a change that is necessary because the change that you do today for better, it's going to serve you tomorrow for your purpose. It's going to serve you tomorrow so you can become that, be that person that God created you to be an instrument of righteousness, and do great things and accomplish great things and love people like the Bible tells us to, and serve people and really live a fulfilling life, and a life that at the end of the day, at the end of your life, you're happy about and you're proud about, and you left a legacy. And that's what we're trying to do, is trying to talk about some things that we have to change in order to do that. And it's tough, but I want you to be encouraged. I want you to keep your mindset right, keep your set your mind on God, and keep going strong. So today, it's an interesting title, Don't Kick the Beehive. I first want to read Proverbs 12:18. It says, "There is one who speaks rashly like the thrust of a sword, but the tongue of the wise brings healing." So today we're going to talk a little bit about communication, but how we speak. Maybe you'd say to me, Juan, I love to make a difference in people's lives. I love to use my story to help others, to encourage them, but honestly, I'm not just that good with people. I'm not a people person. They wear me out. I open my mouth and things don't go well. I'd rather just leave a community to someone else. To which I'd say, I understand that. I go through that as well. People are messy. Anytime we try to build relationships and live our calling in a world full of humans, conflict will happen. Thankfully, though, we can set ourselves up for better interactions by learning to manage ourselves. So it starts with us, not by changing somebody else, but it starts with change to ourselves. So, do you ever do things, say things, or tweet things that only to realize that what you got is not what you wanted from that exchange, that interaction? Of course, everybody has. So you don't want to fight with your spouse. You want to laugh with them. You want to have, adventures. And sometimes you act like a jerk and say things that hurt their feelings. And sometimes you don't want to fight with your parents. You want to do activities with them and work out with them and do activities that you both like. But why do you get so defensive and indignant? You don't want to fight with those you work with. I want to work with them, not against them. I want our workplace to be one where failure isn't disciplined but expected and embraced. So long as it is born of initiative and innovation, I want us to be swept up in passion and excitement and laughter, and feel drained but thrilled by the end of the day. So why do I channel my inner petty dictator and become mercurial, stormy, demanding? Why do I bring myself to those situations? In all these situations that I just gave as examples, I speak words, make decisions, and give off nonverbal cues that take me further away from where I actually want to be. They separate me from the people I love and the people I serve. They separate me from my pack. If I could tell when this is happening, I would course correct. Dale Carnegie said, "If you want to gather honey, don't kick over the beehive. If a bee stings you while you're gathering honey, choosing to respond by kicking the beehive isn't going to help the situation. It's going to make it worse. Beekeepers use slow movements and smoke cans to calm the bees they want to receive honey from. Instead, a gentle hand will help you get what you want. So listen to the results of an eye-opening experiment described in the book Everyday Emotional Intelligence. Participants who were treated rudely by other subjects were 30% less creative than others in the study. They produced 25% fewer ideas, and the ones they did come up with were less original. We saw more sparks from participants who have been treated civilly. You don't even have to be a recipient of rough behavior. Simply witnessing incivility has negative consequences. The same study showed that people who observed poor behavior performed 20% worse on word puzzles than other people did. So the bottom line is that rudeness causes performance and team spirit to deteriorate. There is a cost to being rude. There is a cost to being rough. It may make you feel good in the moment, but it will be at the expense of what you actually want. Being rude isn't cheap, it's actually expensive. Deep down, I think we all know this. Even while you're sassing your parents, being sarcastic with your spouse, or spouting off to the customer service person who is high in condensation but low on customer service, you know you're making the problem worse. But in those moments, you don't care. You just want to kick the beehive. Proverbs 30:32-33 advises, if you have been foolish in exalting yourself, or if you have devised evil, put your hand on your mouth. That's actually some good relationship advice right there. For as the churning of milk produces butter, and wringing the nose produces blood, so the forcing of wrath produces strife. The forcing of wrath in a relationship is every single time going to lead to strife. And of course you're thinking, that's obvious, right? And yet why do we walk away surprised when people's noses are bleeding, ours and theirs, and act mystified as to what happened? Can't believe it. How did this happen? Oh, I don't know. You were violent, you were aggressive, you were mean, you forced your wrath, but now you don't like your outcome. In these moments, we usually say to ourselves, well, that wasn't my intention. I didn't mean it. That's nothing but a fat excuse, because you wanted to do what you did. We simply use our intentions to make an excuse for our actions. But here's a beautiful, life-changing truth. Your intentions don't matter. Your behavior does. No one can hear what you wanted to say. We can only hear what you said. The impact you have on the world is what you're accountable for. When you allow yourself to be provoked, you give up the one thing that is yours and yours alone. It's control of yourself. You see, if I can get to you, I become the boss of you. If I can say the right combination of words and make you lose your cool and make you be like Hulk, I am effectively in charge because you've given me the password that unlocks your bad behavior. How many times are you going to let people get your goat before you start locking your goat up in a different place? So I get it, trust me, I have triggers that have successfully ticked me off in so many ways, and many times it isn't even funny. When I feel unloved or off kilter or bombarded or out of control, it's almost too easy to allow something to upset me and make words come out of my mouth that I don't want to speak. I feel hypnotized by my hurt feelings, so I fly off in a rage I know I will regret. I have had many emotional passport punched from visiting that territory so many times that I've run out of pages. But at one moment, you're done. You're sick and you're tired of handing the reins of your life over to other people and circumstances. You have to find freedom in realizing that regardless of what someone else does, you have a choice and can respond in a way that is completely different than the initial impulse. If I'm responsible for the impact I have on the world, I'm going to have to be responsible for my behavior towards people. The difference between people and animals is that because we were made in the image of God, we can choose not to do what we feel. We can choose something better. We can choose something in line with our callings, our identities, and our greater purposes towards others. We can back up our good intentions with solid actions and manage ourselves for the good of the pack. So I want, the bottom line of all of this is that you can't control other people. You can't control how they react, what they're going to say, what they're going to do, but you can change and you can control how you react. Like the example of the beehive. If you're trying to get, honey and you get stinged, you don't kick it. It's gonna make it worse, right? The bees are all gonna come out and gonna sting you. The same thing with a relationship. If you didn't get what you expected out of it, a situation or a conversation, don't get mean, don't get rude, don't get rough, because that's actually gonna make it worse. And so I want you to remember the beehive every time you feel like being rude, like being rough, like lashing out at people. Remember that your words have power. Remember that in order to become the person you created to be, you have to speak life. And you may have good intentions, but you have to back it up with words and actions. So that's our day 31 of taking back our life, is taking back our mouth, taking back the control of how we react. And when you react in a positive way in a negative circumstance, you basically, showed maturity. You showed that you're more mature than the person who just laughed off their cool. So I want you to remember that. Take control of your mouth, and you're going to be able to take control of the situation, of the conversation, of the relationship, and you're going to be able to have the relationships you really want to have when you control your mouth. May God bless you in this day.